You're listening to a MonkeyBuns Production. Hello, welcome to Will I Beat Magnus? It's Alfie here. I hope you all had a wonderful game week 2. I know I did. 105 points. Woohoo! Yes, dead excited. I was, still am. Unfortunately, we have to go into the next game week where probably the score will go down. But who cares, right? I'm celebrating for now. But welcome to today's show. I am joined, of course, by Will, a.k.a. Top Marx, and, of course, Matt, a.k.a. Bowstring The Carp. Also joined, making a debut this week, by Jordie Van Der Laan. Now, Jordie is a semi-pro professional footballer currently plying his trade in the third tier of the Dutch league for, now forgive my Dutch here, Doors ons Winteropticht, or Dovo for short. He's quite an FPL player. He's got good pedigree. He last season he finished sort of 11,000 points. His best ever was in 2017. He finished 55th. 5-5. He finished 55th. I can't even say it. That's how difficult it is. So I think you'd agree. The guy's got game. That's what I'm going to say. And it's nice to have someone on the pod who's as good as football as me. Yeah, right. No, it's good to have someone on the pod who's good at football and also knows the FPL game. So I won't delay anymore. We've got lots of things to talk about. A lot of captain choices, lots of transfer choices. And, of course, we're going to start off by reflecting on the game week. FPL, I want to be champion. Or at least I'm going to be top 10. Now there's this guy who plays the best at chess. If I beat him, that's relative success. Take it down now! Will I beat Magnus? Or is this madness? Will I beat Magnus? I got to know, I got to beat that Magnus. Hello and welcome. Joining me today is the wonderful Top Marx, aka Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Alfie. How are you?
I'm all right, actually. Thanks, mate. More on that later. I've also got Matt Kearney, aka Bowstring The Carp. How are you, Matt?
I'm good, Alfie. How are you?
I'm good. Calling all the way from Ireland, of course, if you couldn't guess.
Yeah.
And joining us, making his debut, this is very exciting, is Jordie. Now, Jordie Van Der Laan, isn't it, Jordie?
Yep, Jordie Van Der Laan.
Jordie, we've never met before. Who are you?
Well, I know Will and Matt from last season. I'm just another FPL manager, and I know Will from certain things.
Hang on. Let's get things right here. You're a footballer. What would you say? A semi-pro or pro?
Yes, a semi-pro.
Semi-pro.
I used to be professional. It was only one season. I got into professional football when I was 24, so I got my first opportunity. But I got injured for almost half a season, maybe more. And then in the end, I got the chance to go to the Champions League semi-final, Tottenham Ajax with Will. My situation at the club wasn't ideal. I knew my contract wasn't going to be extended. So I decided to call in sick and travel to London.
Okay, so just to clarify for the listeners, you're contracted to a club. You wanted to go watch Spurs versus Ajax, of course. And you were spotted in the crowd on TV?
I was, but
and then subsequently got sacked.
Yeah, but it wasn't exactly like that because, I did get spotted on television. I already told my team coach that I was in London. I knew that he knew something wasn't right. So we already knew before the match.
Good. All right. That's good news then, because it's all on your Wikipedia page if people want to read up on it.
I know.
Also been checking your stats, Jordie. Because it wouldn't be right to have a footballing show and not check their stats.
Yes.
Now, you had a great season for JVC in 2017, 2018. What did you score?
Yes.
34 in 40 odd games or something like that, wasn't it?
I was at JVC for 1.5 years. I came in winter the season before and I scored, I think, 40 goals in 50 games. It's the same level I'm playing now.
But you haven't scored since, Jordie. You haven't scored since.
Well, actually, I've scored 4 goals last weekend.
Oh, okay. Fine. We need to update your Wikipedia page, man.
We won with 11-0. It was at the same level as I played with UFC, but I've been hampered by injuries for 2 years. So I'm now top scorer of the of the league after 3 games with 5 goals. So maybe something will work out in the future.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Good luck with that. And if you were on FPL, what price do you think you'd be at?
If I were in FPL, I think about that a lot, but then I have to compare it with my own division, of course. So we are one of the teams that like to finish in the top 3, top 4, maybe.
Go on, say it. Go on, 8 million, 9 million.
I should be one of the better strikers. So I'd say 9 million at least.
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't know.
I mean, I got like 4 times 4 points. It's 16 plus an assist is 19, 2 appearance points, and 3 bonus points last weekend. It's 24. It's like some.
Yeah. Did anyone captain you though, mate? That's what you got to ask yourself.
I did myself.
So welcome to the show, Jordie.
Thank you.
We're going to talk through the game weeks now. And now, should we start? Should we start at the very top? The podcast did very well last week because my team. It's not just my team. It belongs to the podcast. Well, it's my team. It's 105 points. 105 points. Now,
should have been there.
Yeah, not bad. I think that's the best I've ever done. And I can't take credit. The credit goes to, obviously, Will and Matt, who, when we discussed the upcoming game week, Will ridiculously suggested that I captain Son. We laughed it off. And then, talking through the permutations of Southampton's high line, and I decided to captain Son. And also gambled on, was it James Rodriguez, wasn't it, Will? We gambled on, as well as Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which I will take credit for, actually, because I've backed him to score over 20 goals this season. So that's the only one. But everything else, well done, guys. Will, do you feel happy?
I feel delighted for you. I'm really annoyed I didn't take my own advice and captain Son myself. And I'm impressed you had the balls to do it, because I think it was looking back, it's like, oh, it's obvious he's going to do well against Southampton, but getting up to half time, Spurs are losing 1-0. It didn't look like a good decision. And then suddenly it came good. Well done.
I was met with much derision on Twitter as well when I released the team news, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And Matt, you were obviously another sort of big pusher for Son. You mean you kept him in your team, but you didn't captain him, but you had good reasons to keep him in.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I hate judging a player on just on one game week. We all discussed last week, we were saying there should be a lot of space to exploit with how we saw the Crystal Palace and Southampton game go. Zaha got a lot of space behind Walker Peters, and I know Son kind of shifted centrally, but he did kind of work his way in from the left at times. And yeah, I'm kind of like Will. I'm in the same boat. I'm kind of raging we didn't kind of put our money where our mouth was with the captaincy decision. But yeah, look, I'm glad to just have him at this stage. It's early days, it's points on the board. So yeah, I mean, I captained Aubameyang. I think he only got he got an assist. But I mean, my other option was Jamie Vardy, who blanked. So it could have been worse. So
it's funny you did captain P, isn't it? Because I texted, didn't I? And I was like, I just don't think he'll score. He might get an assist for Lacazette. Yeah. That's about it. I should have played the lottery at the weekend. I should have played the lottery. And also coming good in that sort of week result for me / you guys was the fact the double core of Liverpool and defence, Trent and Robertson, which is the suggestion to stick with them for the whole season. That came off nicely,
I think I'm another one with Trent and Robbo. I think what I like about them, I think that they're great value for money, and they're both so attacking. And Robbo takes a few corners now as well. And Trent will score a free kick at some point. He'll deliver returns. It's a really tricky season. I think we'll probably get on to talk about this, but there's so many players at different price points that could do well. And I was speaking to a couple of other guys. I think last season, we may have mentioned this before, last season was the first season we had 8 attackers, 7 attackers, all get over 200 points. That's incredible. And yet the same thing could happen this season. And look at the weekend we've just had. So I'm sitting here and I'm in two minds about what to do, how to approach the season. Is this value defence idea going to stick, or should we be trying to target these players that could do so well? It's a really interesting season.
Seems to be a lot of value at the moment. So Matt, you finished on 67 points.
Yep.
But you did have James Justin and Mitrovic in your team.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by Mitrovic. To be honest, I was happy just if he got through the game without getting sent off, and he popped up with kind of 2 goals. Overall, I wasn't really impressed with him all that much. I mean, it was a good header, the second goal, and the penalty, penalties are just hard to call this season. There's penalties left, right and centre. I mean, at home against Aston Villa, I think he is next week, so it's a no-brainer to hold on to him, and I may consider wildcarding him out in game week 4. We'll have to wait and see. I didn't see the Leicester game, so it was a real nice surprise after seeing them concede that James Justin could get on the score sheet. Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, bargain at 4.5 mil, eh? Jordie, how did you get on with your team week?
Well, the start was okay with Calvert-Lewin, but those were the only goals I got. Yeah, I captained Rashford. I brought him in for Ali. I was kind of set on a Manchester United captain in game week 2, and in hindsight, that was not a smart decision because they were playing Palace, of course. But I was more thinking about how they finished last season. From memory, they smashed every bottom team. So I was pretty set on captaining one of the United assets. Didn't work out.
Well, you should have listened to Matt, because Matt did back Palace to win, didn't you, Matt?
It was already too late, so...
Never mind, mate. So what did you get in your first game week then?
I got 81. I captained Salah. I had Reece James popping up with a goal and an assist. And I got, just like Will, I have triple Liverpool defense. But I'm on my wild card now, and I'm thinking about dropping Trent, but I don't know yet.
Never want to do that. I mean, I didn't think they'd keep a clean sheet against Chelsea, to be fair, but they did, so fair play to them.
They nearly didn't.
Yeah, they nearly didn't, that's true. Will, to check your score, I had to look all the way down the league table. I just about found it. 59 points.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing.
Yeah.
To be honest, 59 points is bang on average. And at one point you were a bit worried, weren't you?
I mean, I'm really upset so far this season. I've had two game weeks, 2 captains. I've got 1 assist so far from my captains, which was Werner in game week 1. And I'm just like, I'm fuming. I think I've lost, if I'd done Salah, who was my vice captain last week, that was 15 points lost. James Rodriguez was my vice captain this week. It was 9 points lost. And we were talking about captaining Son, but yeah, I didn't. But like a minimum sort of 20, I just don't know. I'm counting the points I'm losing. It's not fun at the moment. Yeah. But I think my team looks good. I think, yes, I had a bad game week. We'll end it there. Let's not delve into
Is that it?
That's all you're getting.
Well, it's all about moving forward, isn't it, realistically? So let's talk about the next game week if you want to do that. Or do you want to talk about teams who you think look good?
Yeah, I think, it's interesting because Jordie's on his wild cards, and I was looking at this because I think my team for game week 3, I'm quite happy with the setup that I've got. All the fixtures are pretty good, and I knew that game week 2 would be bad, and it was great that Son got that return. And my decision this week is what to do with Ali. Mourinho had originally said Ali was going to play against Leyton Orient, but that game's just been called off. So does that mean he's going to play in North Macedonia on Thursday? I still can't quite believe he'll have given up on Ali. So I want to see what happens there. But I suppose the sensible move is to move to Podence. Wolves have a really nice run of fixtures until about game week 9. So that's the team that I'd look to get on. And then I'd also be thinking about captains for the upcoming weeks. So I'd probably captain Werner. I'd give him another shot. I think he's a good player. And maybe look at getting in Sterling or De Bruyne for game week 4. So those are my thoughts at the moment. But yeah, looking at the fixtures, Spurs are good until game week 9. Wolves are good, game week 8. Villa start a nice run in game week 6 to 16. There's Everton, who I'm probably, they're on good form, but their fixtures get good again from game week 6. And Leicester have a nice little run from game week 5 as well. So there are different ways I could make changes, but I'm holding on to the wild card for now.
A man scorned. Matt, are you going to make? You're saying you're going to make sweepers changes for game week 4. Does that mean you're just holding off this week then?
Well, I didn't make a transfer last week, and I've used my 2 free transfers already. I made the moves last night. So I brought in Sterling. I said I was bringing him in no matter what he did. He got an assist last night, even though De Bruyne was kind of the star of the show. And I took Vardy out for Kane. I was kind of chopping and changing whether I was going to bring in Werner and have a little bit of cash left over, or go with Kane. And I think just because Kane looks so sharp with his passing, I mean, he had a couple of chances. He got on the score sheet. I'm hoping that the result against Southampton just gives Spurs that bit of a confidence boost that they need, and kind of just makes them click, because it kind of looked like the last couple of games Mourinho was tweaking a few things to try and get them playing a certain way. And it's funny that Ali being absent from the team now seems to have been the catalyst for that transformation, when we all thought Ali was going to be the kind of key man to any success Mourinho was going to have. So I brought in Kane. I may captain him, I'm not sure. Son definitely is the man on form at the moment. So so I took out Aubameyang and Vardy, and I brought in Sterling and Kane.
And you're looking to wildcard, I think.
But yeah, I may wildcard in game week 4, maybe game week 5. I'm just going to keep my options open, because, like Will said, there's a few fixture changes there for some teams, and even some of the lesser teams like Brighton, Crystal Palace, they have some nicely priced options who are in good form. There's Tariq Lamptey.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. And his owners were very unlucky this week. I mean, he came off a couple of minutes before the clean sheet would have been banked for Brighton, and he could have been looking at maybe 11, 12 points. He was really phenomenal. He was everywhere on the pitch. He was making last ditch tackles. He was getting involved in attack. He looks like a really solid option for 4.5 million.
Trossard is the other one at 6 million, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can't remember. Did he take a penalty?
Mopai did.
Sorry. Yeah, there was a discussion over who was on penalties, but yeah, that seems settled with Mopai. But yeah, I mean, there's Zaha as well, 7 million, particularly game week 5 for Crystal Palace. Their fixtures get really nice, but I mean, I'd even consider getting Zaha in this week. I mean, he's still 7 million. I don't think he's risen in price yet. He might have last night. I'm not sure.
7.1.
7.1.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
It's funny. So, Matt, can I just say, have you been looking at my notes? Because I feel like you're copying me somewhat. And now I have to find a new things to say. So, yeah. But yeah, Zaha looks interesting, doesn't he? I
mean, I know Everton are on form, but, Seamus Coleman, he's not the defender he once was. Ever since he had that double leg break, I think someone like Zaha could get chances. It seems to be a recurring theme where we're targeting the right back spots in a lot of our teams lately. Yeah, I mean, Zaha, he got a goal in the first game week, 2 goals last week. Anyone who has him in now might be enjoying his price rises and maybe enjoying a few more points next week. Well, yeah, I think as we mentioned last week, we're quick to write Palace off, but they're being set up nicely. They're solid, and also they've got some nice, quick, sort of like wily players up front now, haven't they? So that's good. Jordie, are you making any sweeping changes this week? Well, I already pushed the wildcard button. I think it was on Sunday night or Saturday night. I don't know. It was pretty quick. I was already pondering over to use it last game week because I was thinking I had a pretty good game week 1. Maybe I should hit the wildcard button and just get off to a jump start. I'm actually pretty glad I didn't, because otherwise I would have had 2 Manchester United assets. Yeah, now I can go over my team and do everything I want. It's interesting. So did you pick up Fernandes? No, I will never pick Fernandes. Oh, really? What? Why? Because I think he's too expensive. He's 10.5. 10.5. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I think Rashford and Martial will prove to be better options. Okay, that's interesting, because I would suggest, I was thinking that Fernandes is cheap for his price. If he's a KDB type player. Yeah, you can you can argue about that, but I think I had Rashford and Martial at the end of last season for the final, I think 6-7 game weeks.
but they got so many penalties. And yeah, sure, they can get a lot again, but I'm not sure Fernandes can replicate his form.
I'm going to say, Jordie, you don't sound that confident.
But maybe at some point when both Rashford and Martial are injured, when I have to pick a Manchester United asset who I need to captain, then I might pick him.
All right. Well,
but now, he's not even on my watch list.
Ooh, big difference.
And my watch list contains of 35 players.
Go on then, name them all very, very quickly. As quick as you can. Hello, this is me interrupting my own podcast. Who'd have thought? It's very nice to have Jordie on the show. I think you'll agree. It's interesting what he said about Bruno Fernandes. And in fact, all the boys don't fancy Fernandes or any United players at the moment. I mean, I was thinking about bringing Fernandes in. Instinctively, I just think he's got a good scoring record for last season. And if he can develop those minutes, I think it could be a bargain 10.5. But the boys aren't so sure. And I'm inclined to believe them because they know more about FPL than I do. So I'm inclined to go with them and trust them. And then, if it goes wrong, I can just blame them. And I can blame it on a podcast. I've got the forum. Why not, eh? Why not? No, I'm just joking, of course. Well, let's get back to the chat. We're going to chat some more things, obviously, because that's what a chat is. Now, at one point, Jordie might disappear. And that's because he had to go do training or something. I don't know. So if he's just not there anymore, we didn't do the big goodbye, but I assure you that we did in real life. Yeah. Let's crack on. They're talking about Liverpool starting well. Man City have started well. And from what I saw, De Bruyne looked very strong, didn't he?
Well, I wonder about his position. We were thinking about this because Wolves played with a 3 at the back, and we'd seen it a bit last season where De Bruyne played that advanced 10 role against teams that played 3 at the back. So Leeds, for instance, game week 4 looks a really good captain choice, but maybe Sterling will be the better pick if De Bruyne is playing a slightly deeper role. That's my only thought.
I was pretty set on picking Sterling before the season when I had to pick a City player, I think from game week 2 or game week 3. But I haven't seen the game last night. But now some things got me thinking I should pick De Bruyne because he played the number 10 role. David Silva's gone. And from what I've read on Twitter, he was pretty damn good last night.
He was pretty damn good. He looked really sharp.
But that's the question, isn't it? Will he be playing the 10 role against teams that don't play 3 at the back?
Yeah, well, it's also because I think Fernandinho played at centre mid again, and he was used at centre back a lot last year. And they bought Ake. They are still trying to get Koulibaly or Koundé. So I think Fernandinho might be back into midfield.
Maybe he's 35.
Yeah, but he played 90 minutes last night. So if he can be trusted by Pep, yeah.
I tell you one City player who I really do fancy to keep an eye on, actually, is Jesus. I think it'd be a miss to sort of forget
also
about him.
Also on my wildcard team.
Yeah, because, Aguero's out, until November, December? Maybe before. Man City always bring players back before, don't they? Magically. But, I mean, if he's getting a game before... He looked so hungry yesterday. He was so determined to score. Nothing was going his way. And he
Good to hear.
Yeah, he basically got away with it at the end. But yeah, 9.5. Matt, you fancy a tickle on that, don't you?
Maybe. I would see. If Kane doesn't go so well, I may be looking for a plan B. But look, like I said, Sterling is my number 1 guy. I saw a tweet the other day. I can't remember who put it out, but I'll try and find it. And it was basically that with Aguero out of the team, Sterling seems to get all his biggest scores. Maybe it's just coincidence. Maybe they change the way they play with Jesus being a different type of striker. So yeah, but I mean, look, don't get me wrong. De Bruyne is a great pick. I just think there's a huge hype after last night. Like I said, penalties come and go. You can get a penalty. A team can be playing rubbish and get a penalty out of nowhere, and there you go. Players got 7 or 8 points straight away. The assist was very dubious. It kind of sparked a lot of controversy. Did he touch the ball? Did he not? I think even if he did get a small nick on the ball, I'm not sure he was trying to pass it. But look, at the end of the day, the points were given. But that's the main thing.
The rule is the last touch. Doesn't have to be a pass.
Yeah, I know. But
It's nonsense.
Anyway,
it is nonsense.
Yeah, it is. Like, unless it's a kind of a direct pass or like a cross. I know if it takes a deflection and stuff, but look, that's the rules. It's in black and white, so you have to accept it. But yeah, like that. If De Bruyne is going to be playing in this number 10 role, I mean, even when he was a little bit deeper, he was getting forward, he was getting chances, he was creating a ton of chances. We can only imagine what he's going to be like in, that number 10 role with penalties. So
So one thing I did enjoy about the Man City game was actually how I thought Wolves looked really good. Second half, they created a lot of good chances and a bit more luck. They would have done a bit better. Podence and who's the other guys? Neto, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've obviously let Jota go, but with those two young players, I mean, I think Podence is 24, but still young, I think. He's 5.5 million. I mean, Will, I'm going to see, I want to trade out either Saka or, well, I'm definitely going to trade out Aubameyang this week. Definitely. I think for the next 5 games, he'll be a bit useless. Famous last words. And I can cash in on him, get 12 mil. I could bring Bruno Fernandes in, 10.5. I think his goal to game ratio, he scored 20 goals in his last season in Portugal. He's sort of KDB sort of level sort of points. For me, for 10.5, why not? And then obviously for Saka, or even I trade out Basuma, keep Saka for the long haul because he's down to 5.4. Get Podence in, 5.5. What do you reckon?
I think you might be a bit early on United, as we've seen. I think they, for whatever reason, Guardiola got his team fit and sharp. They had a short pre-season, but it didn't affect them. Solskjaer's team had a short pre-season and it clearly affected them. So I wouldn't move on Fernandes until we see some more positive signs, not for that price.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But Podence?
Podence, yeah. No,
Podence. Is it Podence? Podence? Podence, surely.
I have no idea.
He's foreign. He's foreign. It's Podence.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. I think Podence, however we pronounce his name, is a really good pick because the value for money is there. The fixtures are there. The only question mark is he nailed?
But who else
for that price does it matter too much?
Price doesn't matter too much, and also actually look at their squad. It's quite a small confined squad actually, and they just sold what's his face, and they're playing what's his face on the right. I'm good with names. Traoré on the right wing back spot.
Yeah, so the other thing with Podence is Semedo coming in could move Traoré into that front three, which then puts another rotation pressure on Podence. It makes him a little bit less nailed. But who knows? He's playing so well at the moment. Maybe he is nailed. It's just that slight bit of uncertainty around him, especially with new arrivals coming. And you'd imagine Traoré is nailed. So he's going to have one of the front 3 slots alongside Jimenez. So that's the dilemma. So it's interesting. Matt was talking about Zaha earlier. And you think about Zaha, we talked about Foden before. Zaha might be worth the extra money just because he's nailed. Like we really know he's nailed. It's a really tricky one.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Podence, Wolves' next 4 games, they play probably the 4 worst defences in the Premier League currently. I just have the list here. They've got West Ham. They're away to West Ham next week. Then they're at home against Fulham, away to Leeds, and then at home to Newcastle. So, we'd like to think if Semedo comes in, we'd like to think it'll take a couple of weeks for him to get used to the tactics, to get used to the squad, all this. Having said that, we did say the same about Vinagre, and Marcel came in and he was straight into the team. So, we could be wrong there. We'll have to wait and see. But, look, he's got Podence has gotten back-to-back assists. I actually didn't see the second half of the game last night. I turned off at half-time after De Bruyne and
it was a really good second half. Really good second half.
I was following the commentary and I could see Podence got quite a big chance at some stage. So, I don't know if it was saved or if it was missed. I just saying Podence had a big chance. So, he could have had maybe a double figures on a different night. And against City, like there's no disappointment in missing a chance. Getting a chance against City is hard enough. But yeah, there's if you get Podence and you've 5.5 million, if you've got a bit of spare cash, I guess it's where that cash is going over, going back to the whole kind of VORP theory and where you can reinvest that money and how you can get the most out of it. But I don't think any of those three options, Zaha, Foden or Podence, I don't think you can go wrong with either of them or with any of them at the moment, because Zaha's on form. Foden's probably a little bit riskier, but I'd like to think he has a higher ceiling given how frequently City score goals. And when he does play, when he does start, he definitely gets forward and definitely gets involved with attacks. I don't think in 3 weeks' time, when we're looking back on it, we could say, oh, it was so obvious X was the proper pick, because I don't think there's an awful lot between them.
Sorry, Matt, it's pronounced Pedence, not X.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're just being pedantic.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Tactics truck, I got a truck, it's full of tactics that brings me luck, and you will suck, because you don't have a tactics truck.
So who are we captaining this week then, boys? Will, who are you captaining?
Well, it's currently on Turbo Timo Werner.
Yeah.
And that's what they call him in Germany, Turbo Timo. I just discovered that, listening to the commentary.
But yeah, Chelsea's fixtures look pretty tasty, right?
Well, I'm also thinking, we're saying how well Brighton are doing, but Brighton lost 3-1 to Chelsea in game week 1. So I don't think we should forget that. Chelsea is still a good team, and Timo Werner looks like the player who's going to be involved if there's a goal.
Great chance. He's going to be involved in all chances, isn't he?
Yeah, either goal scoring or... And he'll want to score his first goal for Chelsea. And West Brom's a pretty good opposition if you want to score your first goal.
Or 5. Or 3.
Yeah.
Or whatever, yeah, I don't know. Matt, who are you captaining? Come on.
I think I'm on Kane at the moment. I brought him in, if I didn't think he was good enough to bring in, that he wasn't going to get points, why would I bring him in if I didn't think he was going to score points this game week? Why wouldn't I captain him? So yeah. I know players could outscore him, but I think, Southampton play a high line. We were expecting the likes of Son to get in behind them. I think Newcastle could be a little bit more different game. I think they'll sit deep. I think Kane... Okay, fair enough. Spurs mightn't get as many chances, but Kane is good in the air. They might play a few higher balls. I don't know. They might concede a penalty. Who knows? Seems to be the recurring theme of each game week. A lot of the big players getting penalties. So I think I'll go with Kane.
Newcastle, as Matt says, Newcastle a different proposition this week, right?
Yeah, I mean, Southampton with that high line, and we talked about it before, Son on the transition, it was really well set up for him. And it's weird, Southampton just didn't seem to change. And maybe because, although they've improved, they did have that thing, they lost 9-0 last year. And maybe they are a team, once they lose 1 or 2 goals, the head goes down, they just keep conceding. So it's not going to be the same kind of match against Newcastle. I think Newcastle had a defeat that will wake them up a bit. They've got to work out how, Steve Bruce has got to work out the balance between attack and defence. And it'd be interesting to see how he approaches this game. He could go to really ultra defensive again, which would be frustrating. I think the player who's going to do well for Spurs this week is Matt Doherty. I think against a deeper defence, there's more space for him to make his runs into the box. Matt Doherty's game isn't suited to, the Southampton game when they play that high line and you're playing fast on the counter. Doherty's not going to get involved. But I think again, although he did have a potential assist disallowed, there was that goal disallowed in the opening.
When he headed it across, yeah.
He headed it across for Kane. But I think we'll be seeing more of that, more of him getting in the box. So maybe that's good news for Kane as well, who'll be there around to finish. I think we'll be seeing more of that type of game.
Are you worried, Will, about the comments from Doherty? Do you think he was 100% serious about having to stay back and do a bit more defensively, or rather not getting as attacking? Or do you think it depends on the fixture?
I think it depends on the fixture, and it's not what we've seen so far. In the first game, he got into the box twice, and he also, to try and score that big chance against Pickford, he's been crossing the ball in. He looks to, even when he's not going into the box, he looks to cut inside. So we've seen him play the balls across the pitch. I think it's just a simple fact that Mourinho is, he has a philosophy of being compact. So you have your tactics, and beyond that, you have the philosophy, and you've got to be compact the whole time. And I think it's probably just getting a sense of getting used to that. So you've got to be aware and thinking about where you are for the next phase of the game. So if you're about to lose the ball, where are you? Who's covering that position? And how to be compact and play well. I think it's just a slightly different mentality. I think that's all it is.
Yeah, almost like a snooker player. You kind of have to think of your second shot rather than your next shot when you're setting yourself up to play.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Jose's very big on team performance when it comes to defending, isn't he?
Yeah.
As we saw in the documentary, you guys should be there, but he's not there. Where is he? That's my Jose. Yeah. I thought it was quite a good joke. It's not a very good Jose impression, is it? I'm getting the intonation right. I can't get the voice. He's fucked. You're not there.
You sound Russian.
I'm doing French, Russian, every accent bar Portuguese. It's not good enough.
But to be fair, Russian and Portuguese are actually quite similar. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah.
I think they are.
This podcast has lost its way already. Well, I don't think we've run the clock actually, and I don't think there's much more for us to talk about, is there? I mean, we've covered, unless there's something else you wanted to cover. Who am I captaining? Well, I don't know. It all depends on you guys. I mean, I think I'm getting rid of P, and I was looking at Fernandes, but it'd be stupid to turn down Kevin De Bruyne after his form. And City, I believe in City this year, and I think they will tear through teams. I think they have a bit of a sticky spot. That sounds a bit cliche, but not yet. So, yeah.
Let me give you another option.
Go on
Alfie.
in.
Player in your team, Salah. Right?
No,
he played Arsenal towards the end of last year. Liverpool played Arsenal towards the end, Project Restart. Salah could have had 2 or 3 goals in that match. He was so unlucky not to score. And Arsenal conceding chances. I mean, they are letting the opposition have shots at goal. So
Arsenal conceded against Antonio, who's kind of drifts in a lot from the kind of right wing. And at left back, Kolasinac wasn't the best. I know he gets forward a lot, and there's a lot of space left behind. So we don't know if Tierney will come in or who will play on that left side. But yeah, I agree with Will. Salah could be kind of a pick that we're not thinking of just because of the fixture that they have.
And then we have it. That was our podcast for this week. Some very good chats, some very good points raised. And I always go into these chats thinking I know what I'm going to do this game week. And when I come out of it, it changes my mind somewhat. And that's what it should be, shouldn't it? I mean, Fernandes I don't fancy anymore. I'm definitely get rid of P. But I was thinking maybe bring Saha and Podence into the side. And I'm thinking about... But then, actually, then I wanted to bring Salah in. But now I've got Brewster, Ryan Brewster, whatever his name is, loitering around, expecting him to get a move. But I can't, until I get rid of him or he changes clubs, I can't bring in another Liverpool player. Annoying. Captain-wise, definitely feel good about Werner. I mean, he's looked good, he's looked sharp, he's busy, and I just can't imagine a West Brom defence dealing with him. And I expect him to score his first goal for Chelsea, which means I should captain him. And if I think he's going to score 2 goals, maybe I should triple captain him. What if he gets 2 goals and an assist? I'm just saying, I'm going to waste my triple captain anyway. Might as well waste it early doors or something. And probably get shouted down for that. But hey, let's see how it goes. If you want to hear more about Jordie or read more about him, I'm going to put a link in for his transfer market page and his Wikipedia. And you can read that story about him going to the Ajax match. I mean, you may want to, you may not want to. You might read it and go, huh. Or you might read it and go, that's amazing. Or you might just read it and go, I've talked too much. Hey, we'll see you next week. Have a great game week. I'll see you on Twitter for those on Twitter. For those who aren't, I'll see you in the world. Okay, bye. FPL, I wanna be champion. Or at least I'm gonna be top 10. Now there's this guy who plays the best at chess. If I beat him, that's relative success. Take it down now! Will I beat Magnus? Or is this madness? Will I beat Magnus? I got to know, I got to beat that Magnus.